Brothers, welcome back. Welcome. It is a beautiful Wednesday. Following by the way, just unlocked the community tab, which is huge. I just want to thank you guys again for, we're way past 500 subscribers by the point this video goes live. But we did unlock the community tab, and that's just huge. So the first post, I just wanted to make sure that the Idleon efficiency review series was helping everyone, and it was an outstanding, response. For the people who said no in the What IE review series, hopefully I can answer those questions and those concerns in this video. So there's going to be a lot to cover, as always, so let's get into it. Alrighty then, so we have a good matchup today. Today on the left-hand side, we've got Everty, and then over here on the right, we've got IK07. So, not going to waste any time. The videos have been getting longer and longer, so let's jump into it right away. So, coming into the stamps, and special thing about Everty, he did send me a screenshot before doing the review, just so you know, it is better than it looks. He's gotten 4 of these, so I'm not going to harp too much on his stamps. I know that he's actively working on it. In fact, he has the ball timer stamp, which 90% of the reviews I do, no one has that. So I mean, good on you, brother. You're obviously luckier than I am. We're going to jump on into IK07 though. First thing, noticing right, a lot of those simple, easy quests to do, again, excluding 7-figure followers. If you need the Now It's Peak Gaming, I do have a P character, so I have absolutely no problem anytime you want to jump into the Discord, which, speaking of the Discord, the Palmer Plays Discord did get a vanity URL today, so I can't wait to attach that to this video. That's where you can submit all your Idleon efficiency requests for me, so I will link that down in the description and in the pinned comment. But as I go through here, it's just drop table, just some really easy quests, brother, that I know you can do. The stamps are not that low, honestly, and you're plussing up really well, some of the better sampling ones. So nothing to say there. You've got crystalline. There's a couple stamps that you could still get from quests, stuff like that, DNA sample. So would love to see you get some of the possibly miscellaneous stamps, plus up the ones you do have. And then just do the really easy quests like clout chasing, cross-platform promotion, and I think you'll be on your way, brother. Jumping into the forge. So we got some dementia, some platinum, some gold, some silver, some copper, some silver, some copper. Did you max out your... Okay, so we're at 15 out of 16. Again, I don't harp on money just because depending on where you are in the account, money may be really hard for you to obtain, and it may not be hard for other people to obtain. But I think you're doing a fantastic job. You've got a wonderful spread amongst all of the different resources. That way, you are getting something of everything at the same time. Obviously, if you need to flip that and you need to just go after platinum, you got to do what you got to do. But I love to see it when there's a little bit of diversity happening. Coming over here to the right-hand side, we're looking at it. We got copper, we got silver, copper, and then we're into the empty section. So you have 11 out of 16 unlocked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, hey, I mean, perfect. The fact that you've got all of your ores spinning at the same time into bars, absolutely nothing to say there. You do only switch between 2 different kinds of ores. We'll check later to see maybe you just haven't unlocked Dementia, Gold, Platinum Void, Starfire, all that stuff. So, we'll bring that up a little bit later. Same thing. You have room for improvement, brother. I'm not going to harp on it too much. Just whenever you can get the money, you can put that into upgrading your forge. It is honestly one of the most overlooked stuff, so please do look at it when you get time. Upgrade how many bars you can put in, all that stuff. Jumping into the anvil. Perfect. I mean, it's really a treat when you come in and you don't see everything filled, right? But as I'm looking at it, really going all in on the thread, the nails, and the bricks. Would love to see possibly some of your better characters, your bowman, your beastmaster, possibly pushing down, going past the bricks to get those materials, because you're going to want a lot of them for alchemy later on in the game, and it's starting now is probably the most important. So I would love to see some of your characters possibly trickle down to below the boring bricks. Coming over on the right, characters with unused hammers. Looks like your beastmaster. So coming in here, everything looks like it's filled. And then we go straight from bricks to the thingamabobbers. Okay, so that's it's a tough thing to say, right? Because there's threads, there's the nails that you're going to want for alchemy, especially. Let me think of the top one, the first bubble in the yellow cauldron, which requires a crap ton of thread if you're trying to get more luck on all your characters. So it's interesting. It's very interesting to see that you're totally skipping thread, you're totally skipping the nails, and you're going straight to bricks and then straight to the piston and then straight to the thingamabobbers. So very interesting. Would love to see you put a couple dudes into threads, just because that is the fastest XP, and it's where you're going to get a lot of your points from, just from being able to level up faster. As I look at both of them, obviously it's going to cost a lot of money to be able to max all your anvil points. So if you're not there, completely understand. But there is a lot of character progression you can do from monster materials. And it looks like you both are just starting on that journey. So would love to see that getting done. But not going to harp on it too much. We still have a lot to get into. At minimum, putting your guy with an unused hammer somewhere, preferably, down near the bottom, and then, possibly thinking about thread. Jumping into alchemy, beautiful, all above level 50. Absolutely nothing to say there. I'm sure as soon as you can get the materials to be able to plus that up, definitely something you should look into. Same thing I always harp is getting that complete alchemy done, right? Just get it out of the way, get it done, especially for the kill and the more lab experience. As far as what you've got going on right now, FMJ 35, Shackers 35, absolutely beautiful, love it. Good base point to stop, 40s, 50s, 60s. So it's a continual process. I think my Maestro now has 2.7 million, and I think my lowest would be somewhere along the lines of a couple 100,000 as far as accuracy. So really beneficial to get this up. FMJ kind of does fall off in the late to end game, just because you're killing so many mobs, they don't have a chance to actually hurt you, and you've got so much health that you heal for more than they deal. So FMJ does fall off, but accuracy always going to be important, especially I think Lava said end of November is when World 5 is going to come. So definitely want to see these in the 40s and the 50s, so you can tackle the new world alongside me, brother. Let's see this. So we have 26, 50, and 48. So Britley Spears definitely falling behind a little bit. I think a good point to stop and then, collect yourself would be, around 50. And then you can start to push from there. You have unlocked one of them. Really big one for both of these. Try to unlock the 12th bubble. That way, for your archer classes, you can get less resource, more resource reduction, so it costs less. So I'd love to see you get the same across the board for both your warriors and your mages. Other than that, I think you're pushing really well. You've got Diamond Chef unlocked and already at level 3. So nothing to harp on here. Your alchemy is progressing really well. Would love to come back and check on your account just a couple more weeks and see what you got going on there. Coming over into IK07, so really phenomenal on the first two, and then it seems like you just forgot about Stable Genius. It might be because, and you know what, I'm actually going to go check. Storage, let's see what we got going on for a thread. Are we just out of thread completely? So we've got 153,000 thread, right? So 153,000 in, the grand scheme of things is not a lot. So would definitely love to see you put a couple more characters into the anvil on thread, just so you can get this up to, let's say, 60 alongside the rest of these. And then obviously you're going to need a crap ton for a lot of skills as well. So would love to see that. As we're coming in though, let's look at FMJ 26 and 26 across the board. Where you're at in your account, because I mean you're progressing phenomenally. You've unlocked all the bargain bubbles for all of your characters. Would love to see you come back and spend a couple more points into FMJ and Shackers, and then at the same time a couple more points into come on, it never shows me what it's called, Stable Genius. So perfect right there. And then you did just unlock Diamond Chef, and you got it at level 13, so nothing to say there. Looking really good on both sides. Just a couple things that I'd put a couple more points into, just as you're thinking about probably progressing. Okay, so we're doing a good job of pushing. I love the fact that on the right we've got Krakenade. I love the fact that on the left we got Electrolyte. You're going to jump into your storages real quick to make sure that you don't actually have these. I'll bring you guys back. All right, having jumped into both of your storages, did notice that everything that you've got, you've put into here. So, kudos to both of you for, keeping on track of what you've got and what you don't have. For both accounts, though, you've progressed almost all the way to the end as far as the vials, which means you should have the ability to go back and get, these materials. I can understand the quest one. Absolutely. I can definitely understand the Clash of Cans. But for the rest of them, minus the ball pickle jar as well, you do have the ability to go get these. So would love to, next time we do like an account overview, in the future, how did it turn out? Would love to see that you guys filled out your vials. But both of them, as they are right now, looking really good. Okay, so when I come in here and there's still a lot of work to do on the sigils, on the alchemy as a whole, and then you come in, you see that the sigils are starting to get worked on. Same thing I say in every single video, like the sigils are cool and they're definitely going to be something that you work on later on, but the bonuses that you're going to get from alchemy as a whole are more important than anything you're going to get in the sigils, right? And they're going to take a long time. I think I'm at, what did I just unlock? I just unlocked this one. So as you can see, the next really good one is until weapon power. This one's kind of good. Boost lab XP gains, really don't even need that because all my characters are 75 plus in the lab. Only ones that would benefit would be Bubo, just because I get more weapon power, but even then, you know what I mean? And then regeneration of alchemy liquid, sure, but that's still 6 away. So, and I've been doing sigils for months, so would love to see you come back into the bubbles, spend a little bit more time there, really plus up your account, and then possibly start worrying about the sigils, and that goes for, both accounts. Jumping into construction. All right, so deep dived into both of the storages there. As we're looking at it, I think left-hand side, I think you're good on the refinery as it is right now. Definitely a good point to stop. I believe the spread for the infinite refinery is an 11-6-3-6-3-1 split. So where you're at right now, I would stop, and I also caution you going in here. Currently printing, none of these. And I looked at your storage. You don't have a whole lot of materials to be messing around with, brother. Now might be a good time for a resample, just because, looking at what you got going on right now, it's going to be very hard to sustain, right, the materials that they're asking you to get when, one guy's empty and one guy's, 3 guys are going for, the green mushroom samples. So I think now would be a really good time for that resample. Try to get that 4.65K by 1 character per hour. Just my opinion. Definitely a good time for a resample. Right hand side, right, you got a lot of stuff that you're not producing. But I did look at your storage, and you've got, you're in the millions as far as a couple of these, so you don't really need a resample right now. A couple things that definitely stood out to me, though, were your purple salts, were the cracked glass and the mice. Definitely extremely low, only 20,000 as far as the cracked glass. So really good across the board. You're definitely going to be able to keep these bad boys running for quite a while. But I would definitely be concerned about this if you're going to want to continue running that. All I want to say on that, other than that, I think they both looked really good. I love to come in here as well, and I love to see maxed upgrades across the board. So doing phenomenal. Probably don't want to waste a crap ton of your assaults. I know you guys are still in the level of, boosting them. 5 isn't too bad for getting, just maybe 1 rank of it, get that plus 3%. But right now, good time to start doing that salt grind, that salt storage, accumulating a max amount of salt. Really good over here, Everty. I saw you had, 40,000 some red salt, which is great. So we're going to jump into the 3D printer. We're just going to give this a quick look around. So the big thing, right? Both of y'all have 1 character that is, doing nothing right now. And even if it's something, right? Even if you're getting 1 green mushroom cap an hour, that's still 2 mushroom caps an hour that you wouldn't have had before. So I would definitely look at that. Big one for the left-hand side, Everty. I would start producing a couple of these. Looked at your storage and you're getting real low on the hermit cans. I think, honestly, for both accounts, really good time for just a resample. Just because when you see, like, oh, you can get 22,000 of logs, right? Which means your mining is probably pretty good as well, right? Because I saw that you had millions of copper ores in your bank, which means this used to have, 29.1K. What about the rest of your samples? You know what I mean? So I would be looking at resampling for logs, resampling for that. Definitely a good time for a catching resample, and then possibly a resample as far as your goldfish. I would definitely get hermit cans in there somewhere. And then I think the right hand side, I think you're looking pretty good. Left hand side, same advice I got. I think where you're at right now, progressing through World 4. Once you hit World 4, good time for a resample, right? Getting your characters in the lab, getting the double samples. Now is a really good time to kind of do a lab roulette of shifting people in and out, and then getting new higher samples done. I think you both you gentlemen are at a good time to do that, and then reap the rewards. As far as death notes are pretty good across the board for both accounts. Goal I'm working on right now is 5 million. Obviously that will take a long time for you guys, but I would at least hit the 500K, maybe the 1 mil mark across the board in all of these different areas, and really plus up those death notes. That way you gentlemen can get those higher samples. And I'll say that's for both accounts. Look on the left, you've hit all the 1 millions, which is good, and it looks like you're trying to do that on the second area and on the third area, so fantastic. Here on the right, I would just kind of mimic that, Everty, and then I think you both will be doing pretty good. Shrines, again, nothing crazy. I don't really go in depth into these, just because getting those materials, getting those costs, they're going to take you a long time, and I can't tell you to wait faster, right? But looks good just from a cursory glance. You got a couple buildings that's telling me that you've maxed, right? So it's ready to be built. Just time to build them and then start working on that next step. All right, World 4. Cooking, always a good one to look at. 5, okay. So if you want to go for the eggs first and then get that to level 11, just so you can start to use the diamond chef that I know you have, I would actually probably just switch it over to the turkeys. Turkey I think. Get 2 levels in that real quick, and then get your 2 levels here. And then, I'd probably get cabbages up to 7, and then I would just honestly work down the line, getting all my diamond chefs done until I hit my cabbages, then get my cabbages to level 11. Just what I would do personally. And then you can get that, 4.19K up to billions and billions of cooking speed. Over here on the right, perfect. This is an assumption. I don't know what you're doing, but the pet breeding odds, I would probably come back up here just because you have really good levels on your cabbages, your corn dogs, and this. I would come back, hit up the 4 really easy ones right here, get those to level 11, and just really boost up your cooking speed. Because you not only had Diamond Chef, but it wasn't like it was level 1, right? You have level 13, which is pretty darn good, right? So I would really prioritize that Diamond Chef and getting these to level 11, and then going off into the niche stuff. So cooking speed, then your damages, then your skill efficiencies, and then start worrying about the miscellaneous stuff like breeding XP, lab XP, pixel width. So cooking, damage, skill efficiency. All I'm going to say on that. Other than that, looks pretty good. Check out what we got going on in the lab. So we got 3 characters and 4 characters. Just what I did when I first started, I did 8 characters, just because I had a lot going on in life at that point. If you want to be efficient, and I'm not saying what you gentlemen are doing is not efficient, it's going to take a long time to get the characters, lab XP, to get it started, to start hitting the really good, right? The really good bonuses like Shrine World Tour, phenomenal, right? You both have the faster refinery, which is good. No bubble left behind always has to be hit right there. So big one for you, Everty. You got to plug this bad boy in. I would start with 6, right? 6 characters. That will get you to the end, depending on how long you keep them in. Possibly 7, just so you can get to the end faster. Start to accumulate that lab experience. But I'm not gonna talk on it too much. If you gentlemen want 4 and 3, that's perfectly fine. Whatever you guys want to do. Gonna jump into breeding here, so we can knock this out quickly before we hit 20 minutes. And beach docks, perfect. So we just unlocked beach docks, and we've got pretty good foraging speed over on the right. Would love to see you get the foraging speed up just a little bit, brother, just because this is the most important spice when it comes to cooking, and you know, we want to try and get as many of that, as much as that as possible. But no, as I look at both accounts, both of you are progressing. You're both making phenomenal progression. Would say for the left hand side, definitely want to focus possibly more characters in the lab. I know you're on the stamp grind right now. Let me look at one last thing actually before we get out of here. Constellations, phenomenal. So we've only got 1. I didn't do this until the very start of late game, so nothing crazy there. And the reason I'm looking at this is because there is 3 constellations that are super important for damage. You have the Sentinel, the Feisty, which is I think 6%, and then there's another one which is plus 15% damage, minus 7% AFK gain, and it is huge for whoever your active busher is. So I think I'm going to start including the constellations just to see like how much we've started progressing with, to make sure that we can afford those. And honestly, I mean, you're doing great. In the back of your mind, definitely think about this. This one should already be done, just because you probably, and I say probably, have killed Chiswar on all 6 characters. If you have not, another really easy one to complete. Roland Tundra, the really fast one, right? And you're 50% there. I can understand the not doing the super long AFK ones, completely understandable. And then you're probably just working on World 4. With what you've got right now, you should be pretty darn close to unlocking the really good constellations. As I'm looking at the right one, we've got some exceptionally easy ones, right? Like reaching Tucked Away, reaching the Valley of the Beans, right? So on the right hand side, definitely constellations, right? The Mimic Hole, you've at least hit it on 1 character, otherwise you wouldn't have been able to progress. So I would jump onto constellations like it was my job if I were you, brother. Yeah, so we have a lot of room for improvement on constellations. What really popped me off, I think I was doing 10 million damage on my Bubo, and the next week I was doing 100 million damage. A large portion of it were those constellations, getting the chips or the double damages, stuff like that, double your star signs. So both accounts definitely want to touch on constellations. Both accounts definitely want to work on alchemy. Both accounts are doing phenomenal, I want to say, in every other aspect of the game. It's just really focusing, doubling down on getting those 2 things I had mentioned: alchemy, constellations. But that's going to do it for me today, brothers. I feel like I have rambled on enough. Hopefully, as always, this definitely, hopefully this has helped you, and I would definitely love to hear from you that it did, and you guys were able to possibly make a couple of the changes, because obviously at the end of the day, I want everyone to be able to progress and everyone to enjoy the game. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today, boys. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.